Let's see. So I guess if you're here, definitely you are thinking about psychology. Am I correct? Right. Have you visited our labs on the 6th floor? You no, not yet. Cool, cool, cool. So have you walked around like I think well, did you attend our earlier lectures? No, not yet. No. Oh, okay, okay, okay. So actually, I was so surprised. Like when I walk around, like at 1 or 1 o'clock, there was already a line for our lecture. So 辛苦晒啊. You have been lining up for so long for this lecture. So thank you for coming to our last lecture of today, our last mock lecture. So I'm definitely thinking that you must have curiosity about psychology. So I will be coming to the career part later on. So just now we have a very interesting lecture from Shirley about sleep and all that. My half an hour sharing is more like a personal sharing of my own journey. So it is a bit different from what you heard from Shirley about sleep, like very interesting psychological knowledge about sleep. So I'll move on. Let me see. This one, right? Not yet. Okay. Let's see. Yes. My first question. I always ask people questions and I want to respond to my question. So what is psychology? You have been here for at least half a day, I assume. What is psychology? Anyone?
Mind and behavior.
All right, can you give her a round of applause? Wow, perfect answer. All right, cool. So I was out. Well, very very good answer. Thank you very much. If you are interested, well, let's see if you in the future you'll become one of our students in psychology. So now, true or false? So if true, you give me a tick. If false, you give me a cross, right? So I want to ask: is psychology about reading people's mind? True or false? After studying psychology, can you read people's mind? I saw crosses, right? Crosses. So sometimes people got misconception, like, wow, like those kind of dramas, series, and all that, like 咩讀心神探啊, whatever. Like after doing psychology, I can read your mind. What are you thinking now? Actually, it's not something like that. We do study human behavior. We do study about mind, perception, neuroscience, etc., etc. But it's not like now. I know what you're thinking. It's not about that. All right. So I want to demyth uh, what preconception or misconception you may have about psychology. Okay, number two, true or false? Is this psychology? True or false? True or false? I saw this. Shirley, do this. Yeah. Actually, this is from, I know the parents here, you must know this movie, right? This is from where? 無間道, right? It's, in English, it's called Infernal Affairs. Okay, 無間道. Yeah, you remember like Kelly Chan and Tony Leung? So Kelly Chan is supposed to be like a professional psychologist, but this is one stream of psychology. This is typically psychoanalysis, like people, well, in a reclining chair and then telling about their dreams and all that. So Shirley herself is a clinical psychologist, but sometimes they don't do that, right? No, right? So actually, we do more than that, like not just this one. So this is one stream, like psychoanalysis, one stream of psychoanalytical or psychotherapeutical approach. Okay, so this is more like everyday psychology. You'll see that psychology behind why children are hooked on Minecraft. Do you play Minecraft? Yes, right. I heard yes, yes, yes. Right, yeah. So these are well, some people or some psychologists, some researchers will do this. This is very related to your everyday life, right? All these topics like how deadly are eating disorders, a surprising insight on Hauge and narcissism, and genetics, left-handedness, etc., etc. So all those are more everyday topics you see in, like, sometimes psychology is really related to everyone's daily life. Am I correct? So that's why a lot of people are interested in psychology. All right. So back to that question, which just now our student here got a very, very, well, perfect answer, as I said. According to the Hong Kong Psychological Society, psychology is exactly a basic science that concerns human mind and behavior. All right. So you see all those topics here: sensation and perception, consciousness, human development, learning and memory, language cognition, blah, 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 motivation, etc. So we have different domains within the scope of psychology. So you see the branches of psychology. I didn't reveal myself just now. Which branch do you think I am related to? How do you know? Yes, I'm related to education psychology. Did I reveal myself? No. Okay, maybe you can see from, well, my face or my look that I'm all related to yes, I'm related to education psychologist. I'm a well, professionally trained education psychologist. That means I can go out and practice as an educational psychologist. Have you encountered one before? 教育心理學家. Yeah, your secondary school should be served by 教育心理學家. So yeah, so in this, well, remaining time, I'll share some of my work as educational psychologist and also my work as a researcher, etc. All right, so actually I didn't graduate in Hong Kong U or at Hong Kong U. At that time, actually, my undergrad, I didn't major in psychology either. Well, maybe maybe a lot of you are thinking about medical science or medicine. At that time, I aspired to study medicine too, because at that time I want to become a missionary, medical missionary. So at that time I studied medical science, human biology, but I found out that my calling is not in medicine, and my calling is in teaching. So after studying, I got a major in human biology back in U of T, U of Toronto. So I found out that I love teaching. My calling was in teaching and is in teaching. So I came back to Hong Kong. I came to Hong Kong U to study a teaching, like a postgraduate certificate in education, so become a teacher. So I taught in a local secondary school for several years. I taught biology, I taught religious studies, I taught lower form English and all that. So after a few years, then this sort of this kind of thoughts came to me, like, I want to make use of my past experience in education, but I want to do something else. Because at that time I was teaching, but I found that there are some limitations about teachers. Like I wasn't able to help students with special education needs. So at that time, I found something called education psychology. But because for education psychology, I need a bachelor's degree in psychology. So I have to, at that time, I took like a conversion program equivalent to a bachelor in psychology before I can enter a master program in education psychology. All right. So that's how I came about to enter this field. So after this, I also, during my master degree, I transferred to PhD, and then I completed my PhD, and then eventually I'm here sharing with you about my personal journey. So my advice to a lot of you, I think most of you are secondary students, you're thinking about what you should enter into for your undergraduate degree. My advice is explore. Sometimes your path may turn. Even if you have a first degree in something, you may eventually end up in other kind of career. So it doesn't matter. You're still very, very young. So explore more. So my personal advice to you. So well, you see, I have a second career in psychology. So my first career was as a teacher. So, well, every life's got its own turns and all that. Okay. So I want to share with you my three job nature, or my three kind of roles here. So number one is as educational psychologist. Let's see, what do educational psychologists, in short EPs, do? So let's see. So EPs, In short, for education psychologists, we serve students, we serve teachers, parents, and schools. So we, first of all, we help students to cope with challenges, especially challenges in learning or behavioral challenges. Number two, we help teachers to improve on their teaching. We help parents in terms of their parenting, and we support the whole school environment. So this is a summary of what education psychologists do. All right. If you are already aspiring to become education psychologists, you may pay attention to what they're doing and see if you are really interested, or you say, no, that's not my cup of tea. All right. So for supporting students, so you see that we do a lot of psychological assessment. We do a lot of psychological assessments. For instance, in this picture, this lady, very experienced EP, she was actually my teacher when I was studying here as in the educational psychology program. She is performing an IQ test for the student, all right, for the kid here. And for that one is this gentleman here, he is the EP. So the family, I think they are doing a like a behavioral observation, all right, in terms of like interaction between parents and kids, behavioral observation. So in terms of psychological assessment, sometimes we have standard assessment, sometimes we have what Shirley mentioned, questionnaires or surveys. We also have direct assessment, observational assessment. So also, besides assessment, we do intervention. We can have individual intervention for the student or in terms of group. For instance, in school or in some kind of NGO settings, EPs will deliver intervention in groups. For instance, social skills intervention for kids with ASD, autism, or executive functioning intervention for children with ADHD, et cetera, et cetera. So these are the things that we will deliver in terms of EP job. Okay, support for parents and teachers. So after we work with the kids, we'll go back to the parents to have consultation, to tell them, we'll review the results of our assessment and also work closely with the parents to see what kind of support and strategies we can offer for the kid and how the parents can support the kids at home. So sometimes, for instance, at home, we can have some different kind of visual aids for the kids in terms of like helping them to complete the homework or in terms of the time management, et cetera, et cetera. We also help teachers, help them together. We develop curriculum, and we want to enhance homeschool communication and partnership. All right. So for schools, there are some kind of developmental programs. For instance, this is what the Education Bureau is emphasizing now, the mental health, blah, 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 different things. And also sometimes we'll also do staff development, teacher training for teachers at school. So that one is myself doing kind of teachers training, staff development. And well, sad things do happen, but we as EP, we go into school to help with crisis management. Right, so these are the main things or main duties of EPs. All right, so in summary, so the scope of service include, in terms of target, we work with individuals, we work with groups, we work with systems, and it can be direct service or indirect service. I work with the teachers and the parents to help the kids. Those will be indirect service. And lastly, the intervention levels can be developmental, preventive, and remedial. So the summary of what EPs do. So far, any question? Any question about the roles of EPs? No? Okay, cool. So how about my role as scientist and researcher? So I just want to share with you a glimpse of what I'm doing as a researcher and scientist at HKU. So my research interest is in autism, ADHD, and also in parenting and parent-child interaction. So especially in social emotional development of children. So I just want to share with you, because I don't have much time. So I want to share with you one part of my research on autism screening in preschools. Do you know what is autism? You heard about autism before? Okay, cool. Very knowledgeable audience here today. All right. So I'm not sure if you know about the rising prevalence of autism over the past like 20 years. So this is the data from US, all right, CDC. So like in 2000, they found that autism in kids is around 1 in 150. But in recent years, 2020 is 1 in 36. So it's rising rather rapidly. All right. So you may wonder why, etc., but I'm not here to discuss with you why. There may be a lot of very complicated reasons. But I just want to show you that in terms of early screening, it's very important because we know that if we can screen out kids with autistic features of autism early, we can provide intervention and support to the kids early too, right? So in Hong Kong, we don't have much of these screening tools, especially for preschool teachers. So our lab, our team, we developed this classroom observation scales for preschool teachers to be able to observe their kids at school so they can do the screening and quickly refer to a professional for support or further assessment. So these have been published in papers, etc., etc. So this is rather technical, but I just want you to, well, today I just want to introduce to you one term called AUC. AUC means area under curve. So if you see this area under curve, for instance, this is the area under the curve. This is the area under the curve. So in terms of the screening accuracy, the larger the AUC, the better the screening accuracy. So now we did the study in local Chinese-speaking local preschools and also international English-speaking preschools. So we sent in researcher to use our COS, the classroom observation scale, to observe the kids to do the screening. We also asked the teacher, the preschool teachers, to do the screening. So from these 4 graphs, any insights from you? What do you see? For instance, in terms of the researcher for both Chinese and English preschool, tell me, for the AUC, what do you see? Wow, very good. So in terms of AUC for researcher, it's quite similar, right? But the difference lies in what? The AUC for the Chinese local, that means our own local preschool Chinese teachers, they seem not so good in using the screening tool, right? That's what the data show us, right? Even we did a large scale, I think those are like hundreds of kids and all that. So English speaking international preschool teachers, they seem to be able to use our classroom observation scale better in screening the kids. So the next step, if you are the researcher, what will you do? Next step. Now we found out this one. We develop a scale, we tested in local preschool, we tested in international preschool. We found that local preschool teachers seem not so good in using our tool. As researcher, what will be your next step? Ask why. Yes, I heard someone. Why? Yes, why is that a gap? So actually our team, we think that maybe because of the teacher-student ratio, in terms of the international school, the teacher-student ratio may be better. In local preschool, that may be a bigger class, that maybe. Or in terms of cultural differences, in terms of the endorsement of symptoms, that may also, well, explain. But we don't know yet. But how do we find out why? Educate the teachers. Yes, that's exactly what we do in the next step. In our next well, this happened already. So we applied for a quality education fund. We developed a teacher's training for the local preschool teacher. We want to see if by training, showing them, what do you mean by this symptom of ASD? How do you observe this symptom? For instance, not sharing. What do you mean by not sharing in a preschool setting, interaction? So we teach the teachers to observe those kind of symptoms. So we did it. So we have an intervention group, we have a control group, training workshop. You see, we have our EP here, training the teachers, etc., etc. So now let me show you the results. Number one, after training. So we have the trained group, intervention group, we have the control group. The control group, we just give them a scale without training. So you see, after training, at least the teachers think that their own knowledge of ASD has improved. And also, they also acknowledge more the importance of early identification. Really good, right? But our final question is whether this training helped them to use the scale better. So again, AUC. What do you see now? After training, actually, it has improved. So we think that training preschool teachers does help them to observe the kids better. So all these things, the training and all those, well, the menu and all those kind of
當老師
resources.
發現幼兒有需要，建議佢接受評估前，
Yeah. Anyways, I just want to show you that all those things are now in EdCity because the Quality Education Fund thinks that is really good resources. So they adopted and put it in the EdCity platform for everyone to download. All right. So lastly, I just want to say, we developed screen scale, we did all those things are for teachers, right? But anyhow, those are rather subjective. Teachers, in terms of ratings, even for parents, we have our own preconception, right? So we want to see if there are other objective measures of or objective screening for ASD. So our team also developed the oral biomarkers for autism in screening. So we collaborated with the Faculty of Dentistry. Okay, we have dentists going into preschool to do a dental checkup for all those kids. We do the dental plaque. We examine the dental plaque. And we also found that dental plaque, the microbiology, some kind of oral organisms in the dental plaque can differentiate ASD versus non-ASD. So this has been covered in local press and also some of the international dental tribunal, etc. So if you're interested, you can search. So this is another study that we did. So I just want to show you that it's very interesting. You just heard research or Shirley's study about how people go into the sleep lab and being a participant is very interesting. There are other types of research in the psychology department. So we are just presenting like very small subset of what we are doing in our department. So if you have visited all the labs in our department, you must be very impressed by eye tracking, neuroscience, neurobiology, etc., etc. All right, so my last role as university teacher. Of course, we have a lot of undergraduate courses. So if you have scanned already, you see that we have courses in research methods, for instance, psychological testing and measurement, internship, and we have thesis course. And we also have cognitive psychology and neuroscience. So cognitive psychology, perception, biological psychology, human neuropsychology. And I saw that there are this one is quite new, decision-making and neuroeconomics. I have not, have you taken this before? This is rather new, like from our colleagues. So this is very interesting courses. So if you're interested, you can come and take psychology and major in psychology. And also we have social and health psychology, personality, social psych, history and contemporary issues in psychology, health psychology, etc. And of course, we have the developmental education and clinical psychology, lifespan, developmental, introduction to education psychology, which my course in undergraduate degree, introduction to psychopathology, mindfulness-based cognitive therapy, and counseling and therapeutic psychology. So this is not exhaustive. I don't have space to put all those undergraduate courses here, but you can have a glimpse that there are a lot of different courses offered in our undergraduate program. And of course, besides undergraduate program, we have very good master program. Okay, we have our master social science and field psychology, we have the clinical psychology program and our education psychology program. Of course, it may not be the time for you to think about master program because you haven't entered your undergraduate program. I think sometimes there's no harm thinking further ahead. So if you are determined to become a clinical psychologist, maybe, so you can think, maybe I want to prepare myself, so I take a bachelor's degree in psychology. That may be your plan. Or you may want to become educational psychologist after hearing my talk today, I hope. So if you're interested, maybe in the future you want to enter this program, so you need a bachelor's degree majoring in psychology. All right. So why choose Hong Kong U? So I think I don't need to emphasize more. If you have attended Dr. Chang Xinghang's mock lecture just now in terms of Hong Kong U being the top psychology program, blah blah blah, etc. So if you're interested, you can scan QR code and visit our department website and know more about Bachelor's of Psychology. I think that's all for my talk. I will just wait for you to scan. Any question? I may not be able to answer a lot of your questions if it's regarding bachelor's degree, but we do have our tutors here. Okay. So thank you all. I hope one day I will see some of you joining us as 社科人啊, Faculty of Social Sciences. All right. Thank you very much. That's all for my talk.
Thank you, Professor Kathy SHUM. So this is the end of our mock lecture. Thank you everyone for coming, and we look forward to seeing you in the future. Please grab a souvenir on your way out.